Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and then smash the notification bell to become part of the Forex community. And also, whenever I post a new video, you also get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so we are in a new week. All right, the month of August has been so rough for me. Yeah, and I mean that's very normal to me. I don't see anything wrong with that. All right, I don't see anything wrong with having a bad month or having a bad week. All right, it is all part of the process. All right, it is all part of the process. So the earlier as a developing trader, the earlier you understand this, the better. All right, that is why I always preach risk management. All right, yeah. So the week has ended, we are entering into a new week, and so we would like to see what the market has for us going into a new week. So just as we normally do, let's start from the dollar index and see what is happening. All right, and so from what I'm seeing here, I don't see the dollar index moving to the downside anytime soon. All right, I don't really see the dollar index moving to the downside anytime soon, because look at what happened here. This other block, or this bearish candle you are seeing here, let me delete this, or let me take it off. This candle you are seeing here has been so strong. All right, this candle, or this bearish candle you are seeing here, has been so strong. When price got here, it bounced off and moved to the upside. We saw price moving to the downside, clearing this low. When it got into this bearish candle, it bounced up. All right, and so we can clearly see that this zone has been a very strong zone. All right, which price is making it difficult for price to move to the downside. And so I'm not really anticipating price to shift to the downside very soon. I'm still bullish on the dollar index. All right, but let's switch to the weekly and see what has happened on the weekly. Yes, so just as we can see, we've seen price rejected this zone a few times. All right, we've seen price rejected this zone a few times, and we've already broken the previous monthly high. This was the previous monthly high. This was where the previous monthly high is, and you have already broken the previous monthly high, of which price has come back to that zone, and we are seeing a rejection of that zone. So going into this week, going into next week, I want to see price will continue to move to the upside. So I'm still bullish on the dollar index. Yes, I'm still bullish on the dollar index. So going into next week, I want to see price continue to push to the downside. So if these lows are cleared, then definitely we are going to see price push the downside long term. But still, I don't see the dollar index being bearish anytime soon. All right, it is still strong. Let's move to the 4-hour time frame and see what is happening. So we've seen a market shift. All right, it's not really a market shift. All right, it's not really a market shift, but we've seen a market break out in this intermediate high. All right, and so going into next week, we are likely to see price push a little bit downward to the zone. We are likely to see price push a little bit down to the zone before we see an expansion to the downside. So going into next week, I'll be very watchful within this area. All right, I'll be very watchful within this area and look at how price is going to react. So I'll be expecting to see price, if clearly when you see price push to the upside, I'll be expecting to see price push into the zone, then we see price push to the upside. So that is my expectation on the dollar index going into next week. I'm still seeing bullishness. All right, yeah, let's look at what is happening on the AUDUSD. So for AUDUSD, if the dollar index is bullish, definitely we are to expect a bearish sentiment on this market. All right, so going into next week, I will expect to see a correspondent. So far as the dollar index goes, I will expect to see this correspond with the dollar index. All right, yes, so I want to see that negative correlation happening. All right, I want to see price push to the downside. But let's move to the weekly and see what is happening. Yes, so we've tapped into this is an order block we are seeing here. All right, a fair value gap plus an order block. All right, if you're not careful, let's move to, yes, for the monthly, we are seeing some kind of bullishness on the monthly. All right, which does not even conform with the sentiment of the dollar index, because we know that if the dollar index is bullish, we should see a bearish Aussie dollar. All right, we should see a bearish Aussie dollar. But here is the case: we are seeing a bullish sentiment on the monthly time frame. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see the Aussie dollar in a consolidation. All right, because most of the times when the dollar index is strong and we are seeing a bullish sentiment too on the Aussie dollar, definitely we are not going to see any significant movement on the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some little bit of consolidation within this range. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if we see price consolidating within this range until it lines out with the dollar index. All right, until it lines out with the dollar index. So going into next week, I'll be very, very watchful on this market. All right, I'll be very watchful on this market. Let's go to the GBPUSD and see what is happening. Let's switch to GBPUSD and see what is happening. For GBPUSD on the monthly, we are still seeing somewhat strength. We are seeing some strength on the monthly, but the dollar index is still giving us a bullish sentiment. So for GU2, I wouldn't be surprised if I see price price in a consolidation. All right, if I see price in I wouldn't be surprised if price is in a consolidation. All right, yes, but if we see the dollar index breaking to the downside, if we see the dollar index breaking the down, that is violating these lows, then definitely we are going to see GU push to the upside. All right, so use the dollar index as a guideline. All right, watch the dollar index and then GU2 look at how the dollar index is going to react. All right, look at how the dollar index will react. Based on how it will react, it will give you information on what to do on GBPUSD. All right, yes, because at the moment it is conflicting. All right, I don't see what I'm expecting to see on a normal basis so far as the GU and the dollar index is concerned. All right, yes, so let's see what happens next week. It is all going to depend on how the dollar index is going to react. If it continues to push to the upside, and definitely you are going to see price push to the downside. All right, into this zone. I'm still looking at within this range. All right, I'm still looking at within this range because price, I wouldn't be surprised to see price consolidating around this zone. Yeah, right. Yeah, so that is going to be that for GBPUSD. All right, but the 4 hour is still looking bearish. All right, the 4 hour is still looking bearish. So, but let's switch to the 1 hour and see. Yes, so this low is going to be my focus. All right, intraday on an intraday move, this low is going to be my focus. If price respect this low, then definitely you're going to see price push to clear these highs. All right, so that is my intraday focus. All right, that is my intraday focus. If not, if you see a break, or if you see a break of this low, then definitely all these lows are going to be attacked. All right, all these lows are. So going into next week, be very watchful on how the dollar index is going to react. All right, be very watchful on how the dollar index is going to react. That is going to give you a clear indication as to what is going to happen on the other markets. All right, so far as the USD is concerned, let's look at what is happening on USDCAD. So for USDCAD, we've seen price is still in a bearish sentiment. Price is still in a bearish sentiment. All right, because we've seen a shifting structure here. All right, you've seen a shifting structure here. You've seen price booking the structure as well. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised if we should see price push the downside to fill up this liquidity void we are seeing here. All right, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. So I'll be very, very reluctant. All right, I'll be very reluctant. The month of August is a rough month. Yeah, if you don't know, and I'm making you aware, the month of August is really a rough month. All right, The month of August is really a rough month. So if you are really facing challenges, as I'm also doing right now, I mean, it is what it is. All right, it is what it is. Don't just beat yourself up. All right, it is all part of the process. As a developing trader, these things you need to accept them. All right, with time, all these things will fade away. All right, yes, with time, once you get your full edge on the market and all that, all these things are going to be nothing to worry about. But at the moment, you need to accept that it is part of the process. All right, so when you come face to face with these issues, don't beat yourself up. All right, don't beat yourself up. So that is just that for USDCAD. But let's look at what is happening on NAS 100. Let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. So for Nasdaq, we are still seeing a push to the upside. Nasdaq is still looking bullish. All right, Nasdaq is still looking bullish for me. Nasdaq is still looking bullish for me. So going into next week, I'll be looking for bullish prices. All right, I'll be looking for bullish prices on Nasdaq. All right, Nasdaq is still looking bullish for me. I was expecting to see price reject this zone. All right, and we see a move to the downside, but we are still seeing that push. We are still seeing that push to the upside. All right, we are still seeing that push to the upside. So going into next week, I'm still going to be looking for bullish prices on Nasdaq. All right, I'm still going to look for bullish prices on Nasdaq. I'm still going to look for bullish prices on Nasdaq. Just as I wait for the low of the week to form, then I'll partake in that in Nasdaq trades. All right, yeah. So that is just that for Nasdaq. That is just that for Nasdaq. Let's look at what is happening on S&P 500. So for S&P 500, Nasdaq, the same plan. All right, we are still seeing bullishness on Nasdaq, still bullishness on S&P 500. This other block has already been violated. All right, once it passes more than 50% of the block, consider it violated. All right, consider it violated. So I want to see price shift to the zone. All right, so going into next week, I'm also bullish on S&P 500. I'm still bullish on S&P 500 going into next week. All right, yeah. So I mean, it's a rough month. I guess it's a rough month. I guess it's a rough month for me. So I mean, that is very, very normal. All right, that is very normal. And so going into next week, I will still be on the market to see if I see any good opportunity in the market. If I see any good opportunity in the market, why not? I'll post it in my Telegram channel. So if you're not part of my Telegram channel, just look to the description box below. The link is there. Click on the link and then be part of my Telegram channel. If I don't see any good opportunity to, then we sit on our hands. All right, if I don't see any good opportunity on the market, we sit on our hands, because I mean, that is the best thing to do if you're not seeing what you're expecting to see on the market. All right, yes, that is one of the discipline measures you need to take as a developing trader or as a trader. All right, if you don't see anything on the market, what you do is you sit on your hands before you see footprint, before you see what you expect to see on the market, before you take action. All right, yeah. So that is just that going into next week. All right, that is just that going into next week. So talk to you another time. Be safe. I wish you good luck and good trade.